Section 13 of Greatheart by Ethel M. Dell. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 13. Friendship in the Desert. On the edge of the rink, immediately below the hotel, a slight figure was standing, patient as the Sphinx, awaiting them. Sir Eustace's keen eyes lighted upon it from afar. "There is my brother," he said. "We will go and speak to him, if you have no objection." Dinah received the suggestion with eagerness. She was possessed, for the moment, by an urgent desire to get back to the commonplace. She had been whirled off her feet, and albeit the flight had held rapture, she had a desperate longing to tread solid ground once more. Possibly her companion shared something of this feeling. The game was his, but there was no more to be won from her that night. The time had come to descend from the heights to the dull and banal levels. He divined her wish to return to earth, and he had no reason for thwarting it. With a careless laugh, he put on speed and rushed her dizzily through the throng. To Dinah it was as a rapid fall through space. She felt as if she had been suddenly shot from the gates of Olympus. She reached Scott, flushed and breathless, and quivering still with the wonder of it. He greeted her courteously. "Are you having a good time, Miss Bathurst?" She answered him gaspingly. Somehow it was an immense relief to find herself by his side. "Yes, a glorious time. But I am coming off now. Have you seen anything of Lady Grace, or the Colonel?" "I have just had the pleasure of making Lady Grace's acquaintance," he said. "Are you really coming off now? Have you had enough?" She passed over his last question, for the wonder pierced her if she had not had too much. "Yes, really. I am going to change my boots. I left them somewhere here. I wonder where they are. Ah, there they are, against the railing. No, please don't. I can manage quite well. I would rather." She sat down on the bank and bent her hot face over her task. The two brothers remained near her. Scott was apparently waiting for her. They exchanged a few low words. "I'll do my level best, old chap," she heard Scott say. "But if it doesn't succeed, it can't be helped. Rome wasn't built in a day." Eustace made an impatient sound and muttered something in a whisper. "No," Scott said in answer. "Not that. Never with my consent. It wouldn't do, man. I tell you it wouldn't do. Can't you take my word for it?" "You're as obstinate as a mule, Stumpy," his brother said in tones of irritation. "It'll come to it sooner or later. You're only prolonging the agony." "I am doing my best," Scott said gravely. "Give me credit for that, at least." Sir Eustace clapped a sudden hand on his shoulder. "No one doubts that, my boy. You're true gold. But it's sheer foolishness to go on in the same old way that's proved a failure 100 times. In heaven's name, now that we've hauled her out of that infernal groove, don't let idiotic sentimentality spoil everything. Don't shy at the consequences. I'll be responsible for them." Dinah glanced up. She saw that for the moment she was forgotten. The light was shining upon Scott's face, and she read in it undeniable perplexity. But the eyes were steadfast and wholly calm. He even smiled a little as he said, "My dear chap, have you ever considered the consequences of anything? Counted the cost before you came to pay? No, never." "Don't preach to me," Eustace said sharply. "No, I won't. But don't you talk in that airy way about responsibility to me. Because Scott's smile broadened and became openly affectionate. It just won't go down, dear fellow. I can't swallow camels. Never could. You can strain at gnats, though, commented Sir Eustace, pivoting round on his skates. Well, you know my sentiments. I haven't put my foot down yet, but I'm going to, pretty soon. It's got to be done, and if you can't bring yourself to it, well, I shall, that's all. He was gone with the words, swift as an arrow, leaving behind him a space so empty that Dinah felt a sudden queer little pang of desolation. Scott remained motionless, deep in thought, for the passage of several seconds. Then, abruptly, the consciousness of her presence came upon him, and he turned to her. She was sitting on the bank, looking up at him with frank interest. Their eyes met, and then a very curious thing happened to Dinah. She flinched under his look, flinched and averted her own. A great shyness suddenly surged through her, a quivering, overmastering sense of embarrassment. For in that moment she viewed the flight to Olympus as he would have viewed it, and was horribly, overwhelmingly ashamed. She could not break the silence. She had no words to utter, no possible means at hand by which to cover her discomfiture. It was he who spoke, in his voice a tinge of restraint. I was going to ask if it would bore you to come and see my sister again this evening. I have obtained Lady Grace's permission for you to do so. She sprang to her feet. Of course, I would love to, she said, rather incoherently. How could it bore me? I should like it, more than anything. He smiled faintly, and held out his hand for the boots she had just discarded. That is more than kind of you, he said. My sister was afraid you might not want to come. Of course I want to come, maintained Dinah. Oh no, thank you. I couldn't let you carry my boots. How clever of you to tackle Lady Grace. What did she say? Neither she nor the Colonel made any difficulty about it at all, Scott said. I told them my sister was an invalid. Lady Grace said that I must not keep you after 10, and I promised I wouldn't. His manner was kindly and quizzical, and Dinah's embarrassment began to pass, but he discomfited her afresh as they walked across the road by saying, You have made it up with my brother, I see. Dinah's cheeks burned again. Yes, she said after a moment. We made it up this afternoon. That was very lucky. For him, observed Scott, rather dryly. Dinah made a swift leap for the commonplace. I hate being cross with people, she said, or to have them cross with me. Don't you? I think it is sometimes unavoidable, said Scott, gravely. Oh, surely you are never cross, said Dinah impetuously. I can't imagine it. Wait till you see it, said Scott, with a smile. They entered the hotel together. Dinah was tingling with excitement. She had managed to escape from her discomfiture, but she still felt that any prolonged intercourse with the man beside her would bring it back. She was beginning to know Scott as one who would not hesitate to say exactly what he thought, and not for all she possessed in the world would she have had him know what had passed in that far corner of the rink so short a time before. She chattered inconsequently upon ordinary topics as they ascended the stairs together, but when they reached the door of Isabel's sitting room, she became suddenly shy again. "Hadn't I better run and take off my things?" she whispered. "I feel so untidy." He looked at her. She was clad in the white woolen cap and coat that she had worn in the day. Her eyes were alight and sparkling, her brown face flushed. She looked the very incarnation of youth. "I think she will like to see you as you are," said Scott. He knocked upon the door 3 times as before, and in a moment opened it. "Go in, won't you?" he said, standing back. Dinah entered. "Ah, she has come," a hollow voice said, and in a moment her shyness was gone. She moved forward eagerly, saw Isabel seated in a low chair, and impulsively went to her. "How kind you are to ask me to come again," she said. And then, all in a moment, Isabel's arms came out to her, and she slipped down upon her knees beside her into their close embrace. "How kind of you to come, dear child," Isabel murmured. "I am afraid it is a visit to the desert for you." "But I love to come," Dinah told her, with warm lips raised. "I can't tell you how much. I was never so happy before. Each day seems lovelier than the last." Isabel kissed her, lingeringly, tenderly. "My dear, you have a happy heart," she said. "Tell me what you have been doing since I saw you last." She would have let her go, but Dinah clung to her still, her cheek against her shoulder. "I have been very frivolous, dear Mrs. Everard," she said. "I have done lots of things. This afternoon we were luging, and now I have just come from the carnival. I wish you could have been there. Some people are wearing the most horrible masks. Billy, my brother, has a beauty. He made it himself. I rather wanted it to wear, but he wouldn't part with it." "You could never wear a mask, sweetheart," Isabel said, clasping the small brown hand in hers. "Your face is too sweet a thing to hide." Dinah hugged her in naive delight. "I always thought I was ugly before," she said. Isabel's face wore a wan smile. She stroked the girl's soft cheek. "My dear, no one with a heart like yours could have an ugly face. How did you enjoy your dance with Eustace last night?" Dinah bent her head a little, wishing earnestly that Scott were not in the room. "I loved it," she said, in a low voice. "And afterwards?" questioned Isabel. "No one was vexed with you, I hope?" Dinah hesitated. "Colonel Devine wasn't best pleased, I'm afraid," she said, after a moment. "He scolded you," said Isabel, swift regret in her voice. "I am so sorry, dear child. I ought to have gone to look after you. I was selfish." "Oh no, indeed," Dinah protested. "It was entirely my own fault. He would have been cross in any case. They are like that." Isabel uttered a sigh. "I shall have to try to meet them. Naturally, they will not let you come to total strangers. Stumpy, remind me in the morning. I must manage somehow to meet this child's guardians." "Of course, dear," said Scott. Dinah, glancing towards him, saw him exchange a swift look with the old nurse in the background, but his voice held neither surprise nor gratification. He took out a cigarette and began to smoke. Isabel leaned back in her chair with abrupt weariness, as if in reaction from the strain of a sudden unwanted exertion. "Let me see. Do I know your Christian name? Ah, yes, Dinah. What a pretty gypsy name. I think you are a little gypsy, are you not? You have the charm of the woods about you. Won't you sit in that chair, dear? You can't be comfortable on the floor." But Dinah preferred to sit down against her knee, still holding the slender, inert hand. "Tell me about your home," Isabel said, closing languid eyes. "I can't talk much more, but I can listen. It does not tire me to listen." Dinah hesitated somewhat. "I don't think you would find it very interesting," she said. "But I am interested," Isabel said. "You live in the country, I think you said?" "At a place called Perrythorpe," Dinah said. "It's a great hunting country. My father hunts a lot, and shoots too." "Do you hunt?" asked Isabel. "Oh no, never. There is never any time. I go for rambles sometimes on Sundays. Other days I am always busy. Fancy me hunting," said Dinah with a little laugh. "I used to," said Isabel. "They always said I should end with a broken neck, but I never did." "Are you very fond of riding?" asked Dinah. "Not now, dear. I am not fond of anything now." "Tell me some more, won't you? What makes you so busy that you never have time for any fun?" Again Dinah hesitated. "You see, we're poor," she said. "My mother and I do all the work of the house, and garden too." "And your father is able to hunt?" Isabel's eyes opened. Her hand closed upon Dinah's caressingly. "Oh yes, he has always hunted," Dinah said. "I don't think he could do without it. He would find it so dull." "I see," said Isabel. "But he can't afford pleasures for you." There was no perceptible sarcasm in her voice, but Dinah coloured a little, and went at once to her father's defence. "He sends Billy to a public school. Of course, I, being only a girl, don't count. And he has sent us out here, which was very good of him, the sweetest thing he's ever done. He had a lucky speculation the other day, and he has spent it nearly all on us. Wasn't that kind of him?" "Very kind, dear," said Isabel gently. "How long are you to have out here?" "Only 3 weeks, and half the time is gone already," sighed Dinah. "The Devines are not staying longer. The Colonel is a J.P. and much too important to stay away for long, and they are going to have a large house party. There isn't much more than a week left now." She sighed again. "And then you will have no more fun at all?" asked Isabel. "Not a scrap. Nothing but work." Dinah's voice quivered a little. "And I don't suppose it has been very good for me coming out here," she said. I believe I'm much too fond of gaiety, really." Isabel's hand touched her cheek. "Poor little girl," she said. "But you wouldn't like to leave your mother to do all the drudgery alone?" "Oh yes, I should," said Dinah, with a touch of recklessness. "I'd never go back if I could help it. I love Dad, of course, but—" She paused. "You don't love your mother?" supplemented Isabel. Dinah leaned her face suddenly against the caressing hand. "Not much, I'm afraid," she whispered. "Poor little girl," Isabel murmured again, compassionately. End of section 13. Read by Helena Dunstan. Oxford, March 2022.